All right, we're live. This is the Big Blue Banter podcast. We're trying something new. It's the early stages of it. This will be a video breakdown with the voiceover for me and Nick. We're putting it on the YouTube page. We're also going to drop it on the podcast feed. We're going to call this Giants in 10. Giants in 10 will be basically a segment that we run on the podcast and on YouTube. Variety of topics will be discussed. It'll be big picture stuff. It'll be hot topics that we're going to get to that need to be decided. And it's going to be film breakdown and play breakdowns. Tonight, on this first version of Giants in 10, it's 5 plays that stood out to us from the game, breaking them down on film. So, Nick, why don't you get us started off with the bomb touchdown to John Ross?
The bomb touchdown to John Ross. Let's add this to the screen right here. So look at what we have going on. We have the 2 receivers right here. We have 2 tight ends to the boundary side, single back, Daniel Jones under center. So they're setting up a play action pass. It's something that we've talked about a lot in the past, Dan. Jason Garrett likes to take these play action bomb shots. And you know what? It really worked out in this game because the Giants were able to generate 2 one-play drives. I mean, when the heck have we ever seen one-play drive from the New York Giants under Jason Garrett? Not often. So right here we have John Ross, and it looks like we have some sort of maybe quarter, half going on. Cover 6. This guy has half field. These 2 have the quarters, but let's roll it. And I just want you to look at John Ross and how he accelerates and how that safety really just tries to end up catching back up to him. Watch 43 because you have this safety right here drop down into the box. So it starts getting a little crazy here. And watch 43 try to catch up, but the pure speed and acceleration of John Ross is just way too much for these New Orleans defenders to get over. And that's a great throw by Daniel Jones to split both defenders. Great shot play, and they're lucky to get a touchdown here because John Ross ends up fumbling it a little bit. But it is a zone type of look, it looks like. Linebackers flow with Saquon Barkley. And John Ross just ends up splitting the 2 defenders. I mean, you love to see that, dude.
You love to see it. And we're looking at this from the sideline view, the overhead view. There's also the end zone view. And I'm actually going to put a clip up of this tomorrow on my Twitter account. Or I don't know when this drops, but it might be tomorrow. Or we might be time traveling. We'll find that out at some point. And you actually, Nick's showing it right now. I actually love this view of the play because just look at the path of the ball from Jones. That thing rips out on the line, tight spiral. Just follow the trajectory and the path of this ball from Jones. Straight line shot right between splitting the safeties. But look at the trajectory of that thing. That drops right in there. Some people have told me, he kind of had to slow down at the end. No, he didn't. He didn't have to slow down at all at the end. Look at that ball, man. That drops in so beautifully over the top. This is one of the best throws I've seen from Jones this season, and just an unbelievable play from the Giants right here.
It's a great one, man. And you look at that protection, too. Look at that pocket. Daniel Jones has time to tie his shoes, it looks like, man. He can step up into that pocket, set his feet, and just throw with as much torque as he wants through his hips and through his body. I mean, look at his mechanics here. Gets his footwork going and just heaves that ball. That's a bomb right there to John Ross. Watch Andrew Thomas, 78, and Will Hernandez as well, 71. Hernandez is a dog here, man, showing that anchor and just mirroring this rusher as he tries to gain a half-man relationship. Cannot. Andrew Thomas as well is doing an excellent job on the outside right there. Anchors down, anchors down, anchors down. Beautiful pass. It's not the only long bomb there, Dan. It's not the only one.
Yeah, and another thing we saw a lot of in this game and on this play as well, which I think is smart, and I think it's something the Giants should do moving forward, give Nate Solder help. Give him help. Scheme it in. That's something we talked about a lot in the McAdoo days, way early on, when they just had no pass protection. They had those crappy tackles out there, and everyone's like, why are they running the same 11 personnel and never chipping or never giving help from these tight ends? And Kyle Rudolph, at this stage, right now, is not offering too much in the passing game as a route runner. So if it's in the game and you're coming out with that heavy personnel, you're giving a play action look on a first down, take a shot like that where you can have, Rudolph in the game. Use him to help Solder. It can only help the Giants right now. And I think we saw a lot of that in this game. It was smart coaching by Jason Garrett.
Very smart coaching. It's what the Giants have to do. And here's the Saquon Barkley play. And I love this too because I got some of the film already. I watched some of the offensive film. If you go back, and I don't have the timestamp on it, but we'll definitely talk about it on the podcast. So go to the Big Blue Banter podcast and listen. This same play was ran by the Giants in the same formation, this 3-by-2 set with Saquon Barkley split out to the boundary. Marshawn Lattimore over the top of him. And on that play, it was like an 8-yard pass to Evan Ingram. It was an out route. And Marshawn Lattimore noticed it, and he kind of came off of Saquon Barkley a little bit. And then they ran the same exact look here. Marshawn Lattimore thought he was going to get clever, Dan, and jump it. And that was a huge mistake right here in cover one man. Let's roll it, bro. You could watch Marshawn
In
Lattimore.
addition to that, you know for a fact, like with these empty looks, why I like them so much when they go empty like this and they spread them out. You're going to get single high looks a lot because the rest of the D-backs have to come up and play. They have to play in the middle of the field, those second level guys. They have to match up with the guys who are on the outside, every receiver. When you get these looks, you have a quarterback like Jones who throws well over the top, and this is a really defined play for him. Like you said, a lot of it has to do with, what they saw early in the game. Barkley ran a route out of a similar formation and similar set. But one thing I remember hearing after the game was that Daniel Jones told Barkley on the sideline, look, if we get that look again, and after seeing Lattimore sit, we're gonna go. If we're gonna gas it, we're gonna go for that go. And he's so decisive with this ball, Jones. And once again, it's another throw that drops into a spot that Barkley can transition from the catch point into the cut back to beat the safety. And that's like Beckham. That's vintage Beckham Barkley right there, to cut back and beat the safety and beat the angle.
And you could see it right there. Watch Marshawn Lattimore at the top of your screen. Right here. He knows Evan Ingram's running that little out into the flat. And he's trying to bait it. He's trying to cut underneath it and trying to come up with a big play for his defense. But in doing so, he allows Saquon Barkley. Look at that separation right there. Saquon Barkley has a couple yards on him and all that space to the sideline. And then you have this safety who's in the middle of the field finally realizing what exactly is going on because he's shading towards the 3 receiver side, keeping his eyes on John Ross and all the receivers down there. So this is just an excellent play against cover 1 man. Saquon Barkley does the rest here, juking out the safety, getting into the end zone. Just a pure Saquon Barkley type of play. It's what he's capable of doing, and that's why we love him as a running back. And he has these receiving skills. You employ them. I mean, it's very dangerous. Here's the end zone copy. Jones knows it right away. Away. He goes right to it. You'll love to see that. See? Gets the look, sees how Marshawn Lattimore's sitting there like, oh, hi, Evan Ingram. What's going on? And he's like, nah, son, I'm going to throw it over the top of your head.
Yep. So easy to find these kinds of decisive look, these kind of, easy looks when you're going empty, man. You obviously can't run it all game. You don't want to overdo it. Defenses can adjust, but Jones has been great out of empty, and Jones has been great out of spread. We're about to see another play here out of spread, and it's just like, utilize it. You have the speed now with Tony and Ross on the field at times. Utilize it early and often. Attack. That's my takeaway here so far.
Yeah, the Giants, they get down in an 11-point deficit, and they end up spreading it out a little bit more, getting a little bit more aggressive downfield and attacking man coverage. We're going to get another man coverage play right here. Middle of the field close, have this safety deep. You see man just aligned. We have Kadarius Tony as the number 2 receiver. We have Kenny Golladay as the number 1 receiver. On the podcast, Dan, we talk often about stacks. This isn't necessarily a stack, but these 2 receivers are really close to each other, and they work each other's releases to kind of give the offense an advantage. What I mean by that is Kenny Golladay is going to release upfield, and Kadarius Tony is going to act like he's going underneath against man coverage. That creates a miscommunication between these 2 defenders right here, and Kenny Golladay ends up running free on a 7 route because both of these players think they're taking the under with Kadarius Tony, and this safety is way too far off to make a play on Kenny Golladay. So we're going to roll it. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. This is a great play call against man coverage. Either way, even if there wasn't a miscommunication, this is a great play call. Both of them take Tony. Galladay's wide open.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful to see. You can see he's going underneath the release of Kenny Golladay. So this player thinks, okay, I got to take Kadarius Tony. Is going to be some sort of switch here if they're in some sort of banjo coverage, or I'm not exactly sure how they're playing this and what the rules are. 22 is trying to flow over the top of Kenny Golladay. He can't get there, and nobody takes Golladay. This safety is in no position to make a play on a corner route right here. Then you have John Ross clearing out the corner right there. So we'll play it one more time. Man beaters, man. You got to love them, especially when there's a miscommunication like that.
Look at how the corner runs with Ross on that, man. When Ross makes that cut to the outside and breaks to that vertical stem, this corner is playing catch-up the rest of the way. He is totally taken out of – his back's turned. He's playing catch-up. He is not, it's not, this is the advantage of having a Ross on the field, in my mind. He gets that quick release, he gets it up to that vertical stem, and now the corner has to turn his back instead of facing toward the line of scrimmage, where he might be able to cut off that Golladay route a little bit.
Turns his back. It's also outside of the divider line a little bit, I believe. He's not allowing John Ross inside. He wants John Ross to squeeze towards the sideline a little bit on this play, because Jones is on that far hash. But it doesn't even matter because Kenny Golladay gets the space, gets the catch. I believe we have an end zone copy of this as well. Let's see what the blocking looked like, Dan. Let's see what the blocking looked like. Did you watch any of this film yet?
Yeah, I've seen a decent portion of just offense so far. We don't have the defensive film just yet. We're working our way toward that, it seems.
But, dude, how many stunts and twists did the Saints try to run against Matt Skura and Billy Price?
So many. And they did a pretty damn good job picking them up.
They did. They did. Skura he played a lot better than Ben Bredesen. You still saw a lot of mistakes, in my opinion.
Yes.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen. And the situation that he found himself in, he played well. I think
and that'll be a discussion, by the way, for the All 22 Offensive Podcast, because I do agree that Skura played better, and I'm curious if maybe Skura is the guy moving forward based on what he put on tape. But we're already over Giants in 10. Just a little disclaimer, this Giants in 10 may ultimately be called something else. It might be Banter in 10. It might be Giants in 15, Giants in 20, or maybe just Giants in 10 plus, we'll call it, and we'll see where it goes. We're trying to keep it 10 minutes, though, when we can. We don't want to rush to the good stuff. Let's get to this next play, though, Nick.
Yeah, so right here, we have a too high look, something the Saints, I mean, they were in too high looks, but they're more of a middle of the field closed type of defense, single high cover one. But you see the two safeties pre-snap. Got Marshawn Lattimore playing hard flat right here. And then I believe this is John Ross, if I'm not mistaken. And you have Kyle Rudolph right here. He's going to run a little wheel type of route to the outside. And see how Marshawn Lattimore plays the flat really aggressively with Saquon Barkley kind of flowing in that direction. Cover two, zone. You're going to have John Ross releasing deep post, middle of the field. You want to attack the middle of the field in split safety, deep half field type of defenses. And you can see he's open, too. If he got hit on the back shoulder, Dan, you pointed that out earlier. If he got hit on that back shoulder, that would have been a touchdown. But Kyle Rudolph is able to separate and get right into the honey hole between the safety and the cornerback, mainly because the cornerback was cheating towards Saquon Barkley, not realizing that Kyle Rudolph, Mr. Fleet of Foot himself, is able to create just enough space for Daniel Jones to squeeze this football in here. That's getting put in a conflict right there. That's what we talk about a lot on the podcast, Dan. That's a defender in conflict. Does he drop over here and eliminate Kyle Rudolph? Yeah, that's what typically you'd want to do because that's a more dangerous route. But you also have Saquon Barkley, who's a much more dynamic athlete down here. You don't want him to get the ball in space. So Marshawn Lattimore, in his mind, he's thinking, okay, well, I can just kind of try to midpoint both of these, play both of them, and it's Kyle Rudolph. He's not going to be that dangerous. I can try to bait Daniel Jones into throwing this football. Something that he did with Kyle Rudolph in the red zone, almost came away with that interception. Lucky the Giants came away with 3 points on that drive earlier in the game.
And I'll add this. While I did go over it with you before the podcast, like, yes, John Ross does appear open on that. You throw back shoulder, it's almost a guaranteed touchdown. You can see, though, by the design, the idea here is, like you already said, with Saquon Barkley in the motion, coming to that flat, you got trying to hold up the corner in the flat, but also John Ross is essentially clearing out. John Ross is, again, essentially used. This is why I love when he's on the field, man. His speed getting there allows for a little bit more space here for Jones for a clear play that's designed to get the ball into Rudolph's hands, in my mind, just based on where Jones snaps the ball, where his eyes are after the snap. And it just seems like such a great design to me. And I don't think I say that too often going over these Garrett plays, but watching Barkley's motion post-snap and watching Tony's route post-snap and then where the ball eventually goes, just from a spacing standpoint, it really does look well designed to me.
Right, look at number 26 right here, Dan. Oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
This is called a false start, my friend. Not called. But I do love this.
Lucky on that one.
Yeah, no, that. Just get him fast, get him moving in that direction, get those defenders looking at him and not looking at Grandpa Rudolph right there, who ends up making a soft-handed nice catch.
And Jones is going his direction the whole time. You can tell this is design there and it goes there. But it's a good design, so it works. Yeah. Really good design in my mind. Speaking
of good designs, Dan, we have this Kadarius Tony 3rd and 18 play. I just wanted to put this in here. There's not as much scheme to break down here, although I do believe it's a great play to get a really talented playmaker into space with blockers in front of him. But it's a 3rd and 18. They're playing really, really soft defense. It's inviting this type of check down. They just couldn't rally and tackle Kadarius Tony because this dude is literally a Chris Berman whoop every time he touches the football. So we'll roll it right here. This little pivot screen. Got 3 blockers out in front. Makes one guy miss, cuts back inside, spins off a couple. I mean, that's Kadarius Tony. That's his Florida film right there, dude. That's literally his Florida film.
Man, he looks so good in this game, dude. It is hard. I'm trying to not be hyperbolic about it. I think is that even? I don't think that's right. I'm having trouble.
Well, you could just say hyperbole, but if you're going to use it in that manner, I think it would be hyperbolic.
Like in that manner, I think it might be hyperbolic about it. But man, did he look good. Like, the traits that he has are really unique. And I really feel like the defense, once they got him going early, the defense was accounting for him. And it changed the way that you have to – he's going to change the way you have to defend the Giants. But not too much more on that because we have something else planned to go over those receivers. That'll be coming up next. This one will probably just be a video form. Probably not going to podcast. Doesn't really make too much sense to break down the plays on podcast without timestamps. But for those of you who are interested, check out our YouTube page. It'll be there. More content coming to that YouTube page. More of these Giants and 10s. This one went a little more, so Giants and 10 plus. And then obviously the all 22s. Interviews coming up. A lot more content coming your way. Big Giants win. Great to see the offense explode like that.